Hello, Kidney Warriors. James here from Dadvice TV, your online kidney health coach. And this is Dadvice TV Live. Now, if you're new, go ahead and say hello. Introduce yourself in the comments. It's great to meet new people, and we get so many of them every single broadcast. And we have a very positive, supportive, and helpful community here at Dadvice TV. So if you have questions about kidney disease, you know somebody, ask in the comments. Other people may be able to chime in and help point you in the right direction. Now, for those of you that are new, let me introduce myself. My name is James, and I have kidney disease. I was diagnosed almost 2.5 years ago with stage 5. They said kidney failure. I said, no, it wasn't kidney failure. But yeah, my GFR was a single digit originally. But over time, I've used diet and lifestyle changes, got really active, got my blood pressure under control, worked with the renal dietitian. That's the secret right there, working with the renal dietitian. And I improved my overall health, which allowed my kidney labs to be improved. And more importantly, I got rid of every single symptom. The last time I got my GFR checked, it was in the low 30s, and I am happy because I don't have any symptoms and I feel great. I am not letting kidney disease hold me back. As a matter of fact, speaking of my kidney disease not stopping me, we're currently doing a promotion. My birthday is in 2 days, the anniversary of my 29th birthday. I like to stop counting right there at the 29th. And I am doing a promotion that started last week and it runs to the end of the month called Kidney Disease Can't Stop Me. Share your victory giveaway. There's information about it on dadvicetv.com. Doesn't cost you anything. All you got to do is take a picture of yourself demonstrating kidney disease not holding you back, like dancing, going scuba diving, playing with the dogs, just relaxing, having a great time, nice big old smile on your face, and you could win some things that we're going to give away, including products from Flavis. We're going to be talking about a recipe using some Flavis products tonight. You could get a 3-month supply of Renadil, a probiotic designed specifically for kidney patients. You could get some ProRenal Plus D, the multivitamin that I take, and I've been taking it since I was diagnosed as I kept getting better and better, or even get some free Dadvice TV gear so you can help promote Dadvice TV to other people out there that haven't heard about all this great information just a click away. Now, let's get to today's topic. We're going to welcome back, let me find my button right here to bring her up, Meghan from Flavis. Hey, Meghan, how you doing?
Hi, everyone. Good. So happy to be here.
Awesome. Now, tell people about yourself because we got a lot of new people every night.
So my name's Megan. I'm a registered dietitian, and I work at Dr. Schär, which makes Flavis foods, which are low protein, sodium, potassium, and phosphorus, designed specifically for people with chronic kidney disease. I'm from New York City, and right now I'm at my parents in Connecticut. Live from the basement, hoping everything goes well on the technical side. but
I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been with Flavis for those that haven't seen you before here?
Yep. So I have been working it's been like 2.5 years now. And I used to see patients in person, and then I kind of transitioned to more of the business side of things. I get to do a lot of education now, which is what I really love to do.
Woohoo.
So yeah.
Yeah, that is great. Now, tonight, and this is cool. So you come every month now, and we do a recipe using a product from Flavis. Now, what makes Flavis products unique and something that kidney disease patients should be keeping an eye out for?
So So Flavis products really are designed to have a nutrient composition that's optimal for a kidney patient, or at least better. So we have all of our products. Well, we're an Italian company, so they tend to be Italian inspired. So breads and pastas and delicious little treats, some
Yep.
cookies and crackers. And so, we focus on really the protein is the main thing. So all of our foods are low in protein, and for us, that's really important to, when you're building a meal and you're focusing on consuming a low protein diet to manage your kidney disease, it's people don't realize that a lot of these grain-based products actually do have a significant amount of protein. So we think Flavis products are really good tools so that you can get your protein from other sources, maybe enjoy some of the animal-based proteins that you enjoy if you like them, or dairy if that's something that's important to you, and not have to worry about the protein content in your pasta and your bread. And a lot of people don't realize, regular bread can have like 5 or 6 grams of protein per 2 slices, which is just a lot when you're trying to manage it. So
Yep.
that's the first thing. And then we also prioritize being low in sodium, potassium, and phosphorus. And that is just so that, kind of a one size fits all approach. I know not everyone has to look at all those nutrients at once, but just so that we can meet everyone's needs.
Yep, and even though, so I'm one of the lucky ones that it doesn't have to watch potassium. I actually have to eat more potassium because my body, for some reason, doesn't want to hold on to it, and I take medication to try to hold on
Oh,
to
wow.
more of it. But even for people like me, if I'm eating something that's low in potassium, that means, like you said earlier, I can enjoy other foods that are higher in potassium. So even if you don't have all the same restrictions, Flavis is still a great thing to look at adding to your cupboards in your kitchen, your pantry. I
Yes.
don't
And
cook
I will
very
say
much.
on potassium and phosphorus, and you know, those are two nutrients that are really important for your health. It's just that when you have kidney disease, sometimes you have trouble processing high amounts of them. And so you don't want to be in a situation where you have to cut out so many healthy foods just because of their potassium and phosphorus content. So that's kind of why, these are really helpful tools. And people tell me that, not having to worry about their potassium content of their meal is just very helpful. The other thing is also phosphorus is not really identified on most food labels.
Mhm.
And so just to know how much is in your product that you're buying, I think is a benefit.
Yeah. Now, TP asked a question: will Flavis be coming to the UK?
Well, I would like to say, of course, we want to be expanding. It's just that in Europe we're going on a country by country basis. So it is the goal to get it to the UK, but we're still kind of figuring out some of the other markets first. But hopefully yes, and hopefully not too far away from now.
Awesome. So tonight, and I'm going to try to pronounce this. So everybody, I went on YouTube, and you can ask it how to pronounce almost any word, and there's videos that help you. And let's see if I can remember, because it was like 20 minutes ago that I looked it up. We are going to be making some fusilli. Am I close?
It's pretty good.
Very good.
Fusilli,
With
yeah.
with pepper and rosemary sauce, and we're making it in a kidney-friendly manner, so
Hmm.
that's good for us. So let's go ahead and jump right in there, and we're going to walk through. I got to make one adjustment here for the audio because there's music in the video, and I don't want to play it. Here we go. All right, and you guys have an entire collection of these videos, the Flavis Kitchen, where you walk through how to make these. And we pick one of these every month. We talk through it, and then Megan here can talk about, hey, here's some replacements, some alternatives for here. And if you guys have questions like, hey, I don't eat X, or I'm trying to eliminate X, what else could I substitute? And she can let you know, which makes it really great.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead and get started with, and I'm going to mispronounce it again. I'm going to try to say fusilli with pepper and rosemary, and it looks so good. And
Yeah.
it's easy. This actually is easy. I have not made this one yet. As a matter of fact, I have not opened up my box of the fusilli. But it only takes 35 minutes total, and most of that is cooking not prep or anything, which is part of what makes it easy. And we're going to get 2 good servings here. Oh, and if you guys, a box of this is 9 servings. I could not believe that when I looked at it earlier, because I was like, maybe I should make this weekend after we've done the video. I was saving this until after we used it on here. So here we go.
So why don't we talk about the ingredients right off the bat here? So I love red peppers are actually, so many people just chop them up and eat them raw, but they are so good for you and so versatile in cooking. So, here we use them as the main vehicle for the base of the sauce. But they're really high in vitamin C, which is so important for your immunity, for really everything. But it's just a hugely important nutrient, and the red peppers are actually like the highest source of vitamin C, one of the highest food sources of vitamin C. So we love that. And then, onions and garlic are actually anti-inflammatory, and so that's really beneficial for someone who has kidney disease because, they're working to support your anti-inflammatory needs, I guess. It's
Yep.
so it's really good. And then, rosemary is an herb. It's delicious. You can use whatever herb that you like in this. We think rosemary pairs the best, but I really like thyme. Herbs are so great because they pack a lot of flavor and they don't really have any nutritional values. So it's always a good thing if you're thinking your food is lacking a little something, add an herb or a spice, and you're not really going to have any issues with your kidney nutrients or anything like that.
Yeah, I love how strong the flavor is. It takes very little to really give a little bit of a difference to something.
hmm Definitely. And, we do have salt in this recipe, and I always say use salt according to your doctor's advice. However, most of the sodium issues, so salt affects your blood pressure. And when you consume too much, that's when you have a high blood pressure situation, which is not good if you have kidney disease. And so you want to manage that for sure. But I will say most of the sodium intake, so sodium, salt, they're the same thing. Well, sort of, but most of the problem is really coming from processed foods
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. So cooking with a little salt is okay if you have kidney disease. It's more that you don't want to be getting it from a processed food. It's better to just add it because you will end up using much less than you would normally get if you purchase something that had sodium in it.
Yeah,
And a
and
lot of sauces that are jarred have a lot of sodium in them.
yeah, and when I was first diagnosed, I tried to reduce my sodium. And I hadn't worked with the renal dietitian yet. I had no clue how much sodium I needed. And I wasn't aware that your body actually does need a certain amount. And I started having nerve problems by
hmm
having too little sodium. So I want to make sure people
Yeah.
out there, if you're new to a renal diet, we don't want to get too much sodium, but you do need some. So don't be worried when you see a diet or a recipe that calls for some salt. It's a great place to get what you need. And like Megan said, watch out for that processed food. Oh, they just go crazy with sodium there.
Yeah, yeah, and I totally agree with you, James. It's really important to not get too little sodium. It's important for your nerve function, your muscle function, your hydration status. So you got to have a little bit. And a lot of foods have natural sodium, like tomatoes and cucumbers and watermelon. Those are some good ones. But um, definitely want to make sure you have a little bit of salt in your diet.
Yep. All righty. So now let this play. And here we go. We got the hot pan.
EVOO stands for extra virgin olive oil. I feel like people
Yes.
always ask me that.
Well, and I hear you say it every time. And every time I see it, I'm like, what is that? Now,
Yeah.
what are some other kinds of oil that I could use if I didn't want to use extra virgin olive oil?
So any plant-based oils are going to be they're going to have a healthier fat content. So you can use like a avocado oil or a sunflower oil. Some people really like sesame oil. I think it tastes great. Maybe not in this recipe because it tastes like a little nuttier. But if you like that, hey, go for it. Um, so yeah, those are some good choices. I think, sticking to the plant-based oils instead of cooking in butter.
Yep. And I use avocado oil and extra virgin olive oil. Those are my two oils that I have in my counter or in my cupboard. There's a little bit of garlic. Now it calls for more garlic than that, or is that all it is? It's just one little bit?
Yeah, that's just I think it was a clove. That's just like one small clove. So the reason they took the garlic off the heat, and I'm going to say that's an optional step, but they took it off because if you cook garlic on heat for too long, it gets like a bitter, burnt taste. And so some people don't mind that, but the Italians are very particular about their garlic and onions. So when this recipe was created, they remove it.
Yep. So now we're sauteing some onions. I love onions.
Me too. So good. Here's the
Oh,
peppers.
the peppers. I used to never eat peppers. Now I love it. And my daughter eats them raw. She absolutely loves different peppers. Yellow, red, green.
Yep. And I think that's also a good tip. We use red peppers in this recipe, but you can use whatever ones you like. They're all great for you. And you cook them down so they're nice and soft.
And it doesn't take long to cook those down.
No.
So now we're setting those
surprisingly
aside.
not. And that's an immersion blender. You can use a regular blender too. This will give you a chunkier sauce if you use a handheld blender, but if you want a smoother one, you can use a regular blender or a food processor will work.
Okay, now I have not watched this. This is my first time watching it. I did not know it was that easy to make the sauce.
Yeah, so easy. You just have to blend it.
That would be even, I was sitting there, I'm thinking, wow, this would be nice with my stir fry. When I saw the end product, I was like, because I'm always looking for new sauces that I can mix in my stir fry just to give it some more flavor. And I did not realize it was that easy when you use something like the peppers and onions.
Yep, so many sauces are just blended vegetables. And so, I even encourage you to make your own tomato sauce. It's kind of the same process. It can be as complicated as you cook it for hours, or it can be very simple. I like to just roast cherry tomatoes sometimes and use an immersion blender and just grind them up, and that's my sauce. So,
Wow. I'm going to have to get one of those blenders. I've seen them, but I have a blend tech.
oh,
Which is a little overkill for stuff, but hey, they
fancy.
crush diamonds in it on the ads and stuff. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get the super duper strong one.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want something chunkier, the handheld blender is good.
Yep. All right. So here was that bacon.
It was, and I'd like to talk about this. So, we talk about allocating your protein, right? And you want to, save some. If you are a person that loves bacon, adding a little bit and not wasting your protein and your sodium from a processed food or sauce or anything like that, like this is a good way to get it in. And the key here is portion control, but you can have it. And I think that's something that's so important is that we're not restricting all types of foods forever. There's a place for something like bacon in a kidney-friendly diet in moderate amounts and, with a meal that's full of fiber, vitamins, minerals, and a lot of other good stuff.
Yeah, and bacon is another one of those things that has a strong flavor. So you really don't need a lot of it to get that flavor. And who doesn't like bacon? Now, Sal has a quick question here. Or wait, where was it? Kel2580. He or she asks, why do they say that red, yellow, and orange peppers are good for you? And should I believe it? I'm going to say yeah.
No, it says why are they not good for you? So yeah, so
Oh, and you say, why are they
red,
not?
yeah, I don't know
Oh,
why. I don't know why people would say they're not good for you. They are good for you. I will say,
yeah.
um, you know, any time you see like a vegetable or a fruit is bad for you, I would really question that. Plants are, you know, always going to have something that's good for you. I mean, I'm sure there's, things that are actually edible because there's always fruits and stuff that you're not supposed to eat, and that's
Hmm.
true. But for the most part, if it's a plant, a fruit or a vegetable you get in the grocery store, it's going to have some nutritional benefits for you. So I would question that source.
Yeah. All righty, here we go. We got our bacon.
All right, and we're
Yeah.
draining the fat here because um, so animal foods and bacon have a lot of saturated fat, and saturated fat is that fat that if you can physically see it, it's that solid fat on meats, and so that's actually when you consume too much of it, it can be bad for your heart. So we're removing it here just to remove that problem, but you're not going to miss the flavor of bacon. You're just removing some of the fat.
Yeah. They say they eat peppers like apples. Awesome.
Oh, you're getting a lot of vitamin C. That's good.
Yes. And vitamin C helps with absorbing the B vitamins, which are
It
important for
does.
kidney patients.
Hmm.
Yeah, B vitamins are used along with iron to help make your red blood cells and your hemoglobins, which brings oxygen to all your organs and helps fight anemia.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, that's a good point. When you consume, but like an iron food, you should consume it with a little vitamin C. I always say, have an orange or like a red pepper with your steak because that's going to enhance your absorption of the iron.
Hmm. All right, now we're adding our rosemary. Oh,
Yeah.
this must smell so good.
Yeah, it really does. Rosemary is very strong smelling. It's delicious.
All right, now we
Okay.
got some boiling water,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of salt.
Yep, just a little bit. It really does help with the flavor of the pasta.
Aha, and here is our fusilli.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a question. Let me pause this real quick. So, a question about all the different pastas. This is more of an
Uh-huh.
Italian question. They have different shapes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is there more to the difference between pastas besides just the shapes?
No. For the most part, no. I think, if it's a stuffed pot, we don't sell stuffed pastas, but that's the only time you're going to see a big nutritional difference.
Mm-hmm. Aha. So, someone could, and this is perfect timing. Um, Junior asked, can he use spaghetti for this recipe if he didn't have the fusilli?
For sure. And the Italians always say there's certain pastas that are good for capturing certain sauces and whatever you like, use. I think to me it's not a big difference.
Yeah,
I'm a
I've
big penne
always
fan
wondered.
personally. Yeah.
I grew up on elbow macaroni.
Okay. So you like that? Yeah. I mean, everyone has their preference.
I like how the tomato sauce, when I would make spaghetti, would get inside of it. Oh, I love the extra
Yeah,
sauce.
I do too. And that's why it's good when you're making your own because you know what's in it and you know it's appropriate for your needs.
Yep.
All right, now we're just
And
adding the
there's,
sauce
oh,
to the
that sauce
pasta.
looks delicious. Look at
Yeah.
that.
And this is something, I putting it in the pan that you cooked in and mixing the sauce in, it really does it gets the nice flavors all over it. It evenly coats it. So I think that's a nice cooking tip if you've never done that before. Just throw the pasta right into the pan you cooked the food in.
Yep. This says add a drop of extra virgin olive oil.
Yep,
Now, why are we
just for a
doing
little
that?
flavor.
And that's more than a drop.
Yeah, well, so olive oil, it's got some healthy fats that are, heart healthy fats, but it's good for flavor. So,
Mhm.
the fats will make you feel more satiated. They'll help you stay fuller. Um, and I think a lot of people don't give enough fat in their, or don't put enough fat in their food. Healthy fats like this, fats, I always say fats don't make people fat. That's not
Mhm.
actually a thing at all. Fats are healthy for you. You need them. And you will feel much fuller if you just add a little bit on there. And, it tastes really good.
Yeah, and when I first had to start a renal diet, I had a lot of trouble with always being hungry. I
Mhm.
felt like I wasn't getting enough food. And one of the tricks my dietitian recommended is to add more fat to my dinner.
Mhm.
And that kept me full through the night. And that helped when I switched to intermittent fasting, where I don't eat my first meal until 11 a.m. in the morning. And then I try to finish dinner personally by 6 p.m. just because of the kids. I want to finish dinner with them and then have time for them to digest their food before I start putting them down later in the evening for bed. And it really did make a huge difference at keeping me hungry or keep me full all night long. So I wasn't hungry. I didn't want a snack. I would just drink a little bit of water at night. And in the morning, I got up, drank a little bit of water. I'm getting ready for work. Work gets started. I'm busy, not even hungry till it's lunchtime, which was great.
Yeah, and I think if you're feeling like your meals are missing something, like if you eat lunch and you feel like you're just like having a crash an hour later, experiment with adding a little bit of fats. It can be from oils, it can be from nuts, it can be from seeds, it can be peanut butter, almond butter, all those things that you just have a little bit and it makes a big difference. If you're going to have an apple, I always say have it with some nuts or something like that, just to give it a little balance on your macronutrients.
Aha. I eat a lot of apples and I never eat them with anything. Though I
Yeah.
did just start something kind of naughty with my apples. I started putting honey on them,
Well, I mean, there's a
which is
place for,
liquid sugar, a lot of honey.
yeah, you just got to moderate. I will
It's a
say,
lot.
so with a lot of foods, it's easy to just kind of add a little bit and then you're like, oh, it's just a little bit of honey and that's fine. But I would say if you had it with a nut or nut butter, it would maybe you could go less on the honey and you could be
Yeah, I
it would
need
be
to. So
better.
I bought, and I hate to get off topic here, but I bought an 8 ounce thing of honey. It was delivered on Saturday. What is today's Monday? So I probably, oh my God, I've had like 6 ounces of it. There's probably like 2 ounces left. Saturday,
Oh my goodness.
Sunday,
It's
and
so
Monday
good
in
though.
3 days. Yeah, I'm just loving the honey. I haven't had it for over 2 years, so it's great. All right, let's jump back to this recipe.
Yeah.
We've added our extra virgin olive oil.
And now you're adding your bacon rosemary mixture. It should be nice and crispy after you cook it like that.
There we go. Look
And then
at
you're pretty
that.
much good. Pretty
Oh,
much
that
good.
looks
And
so, it looks like something from a restaurant.
it does. And I think people underestimate how hard it is. I mean, I think they overestimate how hard it is to make sauce. I mean, just that sauce, it feels fancy. And how easy was that?
Yeah. I'm going to have to get one of those little blender things.
Yeah. You could also, in the meantime, mash with a fork. I mean, it works.
Yeah.
Not always pretty, but it works.
Now, someone had asked, it was a very good question. They asked about carbs. Let me see if I can find it
Mhm.
on here. Someone asked, is this a low carb meal? What do you have to say about the carbs?
So we actually have the nutrition facts for this recipe. So this recipe is about 70 grams of carbs, but I do want to talk about carbs because I think it's a little bit confusing for people because we always hear carbs are bad, but actually carbs are your body's preferred source of energy. And so it's not that carbs are bad, it's just that a lot of times the sources of carbs that we consume are not the best. And so you want to focus on like high fiber fruits, vegetables, and grains, and all your like high fiber foods. Carbs should be about half of your calories per day. So if you think, if you need 2000 calories, about 1000 of them should be coming from carbohydrates for most people. Um, Carbs, it's all about balance, right? And so 70 grams of carbs per day. For this meal, it's also got 8 grams of fiber. So right there, you're doing a pretty good ratio. The recipe also has 4.7 grams of protein and 10 grams of fat. So that is pretty balanced right there.
Yeah, very, very good. I'm glad that has fiber in it. Fiber has been my friend ever since I started a renal diet. And for a short amount, like most people, I don't get enough fiber, or I wasn't getting enough fiber. And my doctors slowly ramped up the amount of fiber, which I think helped a lot with keeping me full. And as I adjusted to eating properly, having that fiber in there was it almost like it undid some of my sins of too many carbs here and there.
Yeah, and with fiber, it slows your digestion, which is a good thing. It's because as it's doing that, it's pulling toxins out. It's making you feel fuller for longer. It's just doing so many, and a healthy gut is a healthy person. So I can't say enough good things about fiber. The recommendation is at least 30 grams per day. So if you're getting 8 from this meal, I mean, you're well on your way.
Yeah, you're almost you're over a quarter of the way there.
Yeah.
Now, for anyone out there who is new, there is a link right here, go.dadvicetv.com, that will take you to the Flavis website where you can see all their products. So I have eaten every single product you have except the pizza.
The pizza crust.
The pizza crust. I have it, but I haven't made anything with it. But I've tried all of them. I love all of them. You have a little snack bar that is absolutely great. It's hard to describe, but it was the perfect snack. They're the right size. They taste incredible, and I would take them with me, and it's a great on the go because they weren't that big. Also wanted to mention you have a lot of bread products. You have these loaves of bread, as well as there's bread sticks, and ciabatta, which is a great one right there. You can cut them up, make a sandwich out of them. I know a lot of kidney patients out there are trying to figure out what bread do I need. Those make great sandwiches. Toast them. You can also chop them up, make croutons out of them, toast it, cut them up, toast them. Lots of use out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and the ciabatta, I will tell you a little tip. When you bake them in the oven for like 5 minutes, there's instructions in the pack, but a lot of people just eat them out of the bag, which is fine. You can eat them out of the bag, but they taste really good when you heat them up a little bit. So I highly recommend doing that. But it is my favorite product. I love the ciabatta.
Awesome. Yes, I love those. And you have, I don't have the website up here, but there's like already toasted breads.
Crostini.
They're crostini. Yes, yes, yes. Those I love. I love dipping those in hummus.
Yeah, they're great. What's also a good thing with crostini is you can blend them up in a food processor or a blender or whatever. We're really on the blender today. But they make nice breadcrumbs. So if you're cooking something like my parents are really into the air fryer. I was just helping them make an air fryer and I was using some breadcrumbs like that and just put them on your whatever you're making. Really nice,
Yep.
gives them a nice crunch.
And someone here, JR, was asking that pasta, boom, all Flavis products are low in protein, potassium, phosphorus, and sodium. I had to remember them all. These are in Europe, these are sold as a medical food.
Yes. Yeah, actually they're prescribed by doctors and in pharmacies in Europe. So a little different here, but we have them online. They're at shop.flavis.com.
And you don't need a prescription or anything to buy their food. And it's priced very similar to what I would find here if I went down to Whole Foods. So this right here is under $5.50 for 9 servings. That's quite a bit. So what's that end up being? 50 cents a serving? Yeah. 50 cents. Come on. That's a great deal.
Yeah, when you put it like that.
And you always got to turn around and look at that serving size because some of these things are a bit tricky. You're thinking, oh, this is great, and you flip it around like, well, the whole container is only 1 serving. Oh, that's not a good deal now.
No,
And
it's
Sal
true.
said the fruit bars are great.
Yes, they definitely are. And I will say, those are more of an indulgent item, a little higher in sugar, so just one at a time.
Yep. And speaking of sugar, you guys are
Yeah.
working on some lower sugar alternatives for those that are diabetic, right?
Yes. And so, where that comes up is really with the fruit bar and the two cookies, the Frolini and the regular cookies, which are kind of like a chocolate chip. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the breads and the pastas and the bread products, there's no real added sugar in those products. It's really just in those three that I mentioned, the fruit bar and the two cookies. We want to make products that are appropriate for everyone, and we understand that a lot of people have diabetes and kidney disease. And so, yes, we're definitely working on that. But um, in the serving sizes indicated on the package, we did keep the sugar content in mind. So always look at what the serving size is.
Yep. Awesome. Let's see. I don't see any other questions that were asked. Tonight might be a slightly shorter show, everybody. And I'm trying to get them shorter because I know some people sitting for a full hour is a challenge. I'm looking through here to see if there's any other questions. If anybody has any questions about Flavis or about your, hey, here, what are some recipe ideas or anything like that, let us know. So we just got, Kel said, low sugar. That's always great. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. That
Yes,
has
I
been
agree.
probably my biggest challenge. Remember, I was just talking to some people earlier today with AstraZeneca. And I was telling them, they were asking, how am I doing with my diet? How hard was it to switch to a renal diet and to stick to it? And I told them, it's once I learned about portion control and looking at nutrients, not looking at food, not saying I can't have an avocado, but looking at, I need this amount of potassium, but not more than this. When I started looking at it that way, it was easier. But my biggest challenge has been sugar. I'm not diabetic, but like the honey,
Hmm.
sometimes I get a sweet tooth and I just kind of overdo it. I've got to work on, not reaching for it as often.
Yeah. I mean, I think that that's always, and if you're not eating perfectly every day, that is okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. But yeah, sugar is a hard one and sugar is addicting. And so if you're, it's kind of a cycle, right? You kind of get going on it and then it's harder. So you'll
Yep.
get there, James. Don't worry.
Well,
With your
I will.
honey.
I just got to spend more time on the treadmill, and I need to
Yeah.
buy smaller. So if I had a smaller
Hmm.
honey, I wouldn't have had as much of the last 3 days.
Yeah.
And once I'm done with it in a few days, I'll be done with honey for months. Now, Natalie has a great question. Are Flavis foods eligible with a health savings
Hmm.
account? Do you know that if they are?
So it's a little complicated. So we do have a letter of medical necessity that you can download on our website, and you can try to submit it for reimbursement. We have had some people with success doing so. It just kind of depends on how your insurance is and if they're set up for it and if they're familiar with the products. But it's a letter you can download on our website in the download section on flavis.com.
Yep. And Rachel's asking, can you buy Flavis in Australia?
Not yet, but again, we're trying to grow this to be available everywhere. So hopefully eventually we will be.
And this isn't related to Flavis. Megan said, I tried tofu tonight and I just couldn't. I'm with you, Megan.
I,
It's got to
tofu,
be cooked
it's
right.
it's tough. I myself took a long time to get into tofu, but I like it a little crispier, so I like to bake it. But if you don't like tofu, try tempeh. It's a different texture.
I have no problem with
It's
the texture. It's just the appearance that seems to bother
Yeah.
me.
So tempeh is just more nuttier. Like I highly recommend trying tempeh. It's got more of like it's heartier.
Yep. Awesome. I will definitely try it. Now, Sal asked, why do I have to wait 2 weeks to get the order. And Sal, if you haven't ordered, you may not be in a 2-week zone. It takes about 3 days for me to get it here in Cincinnati. And I'm guessing I'm just close to a distribution center.
So I think he's probably referring on the website, it usually says delivery 2 weeks. And that's
Yep.
really just to kind of give you an estimate. So we are a family business, and I will say if something happens, and these products are coming from Italy, so sometimes things can be a little bit held up on the water, and we distribute them from New Jersey. So if you're kind of on the East Coast, middle of the country, you might get them faster. If you're on the West Coast, it might take a little longer. That being said, 2 weeks is kind of just our approximate. Um, it's that's kind of where we like to be under 2 weeks, and that's kind of like our maximum. So ideally, it will be shorter than that, but
Yeah.
that's
And
why.
I was surprised when I ordered the first time, and it was just a few days and it was here. Now, Sal also asked, and a few other people did, are these gluten free?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Oh,
they are gluten free. And the reason they are gluten free is because everything that Dr. Schär does is gluten free. We are our first brand that we created is the Schär gluten free brand. And so we are a company that's just what we do. Everything is, everything that we make is gluten free.
yeah. And then Susan asked, where do you get the bread? This link right here, go.dadvicetv.com/food will take you to the Flavis website. You can also Google Flavis, and there's a link for them in the description. They're not yet carried in local stores. I would love to see things like this in stores in the future. Maybe one day down the road. That would be
Yeah,
great.
that's our goal too. The grocery store right now, it's kind of it's not really focused for medical needs, but wouldn't it be so great if you could kind of go through and shop like by
Oh,
your dietary need? It'd be so nice.
yeah, and they have, near me, there's a really nice Kroger, which has a
Yeah.
great health department. Lots of
Mhm.
healthy foods, lots of plant-based foods, but there's, it's a really nice one, but it's very small, and the selection really is limited. I look forward to the day when there's more of these items there locally that we can go pick up, we can try them, add more variety. But
Mhm.
for now, going online is a great way to find more of these products.
Yeah, and these days, more people are shopping online. So,
Oh,
if you're
I
not,
do it
you
all
know,
the time.
yeah, I mean, me too. I order my groceries online now too, so.
Yep. I need to. So I'm out of jackfruit, and I
Wow.
can't find it affordable online. And it's like, oh, I really wanted some because I wanted to make, use the ciabatta, and I wanted to make like pulled pork sandwiches using the
Yeah.
jackfruit.
Wow, that's
And
ambitious of you, James.
oh, I'm slowly making more and more items.
Yeah.
But I learned one thing and I just stick with it for a long time until I get bored. Then I add one more thing, stick with it till I'm bored. So I'm slowly building up what I can make. But I love it. It tastes great,
It
but
does. A lot of people are intimidated by jackfruit.
I get it either in the packet or the can already cut up.
Yeah, so you don't mess with cutting it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my kids always see the big ones. They love those. They love the dragon fruit.
Yeah.
Anything that looks interesting, they love that. I saw another question here. Sal said it's nice you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what these products do. You don't have to worry about those things. The protein, potassium, sodium, phosphorus when you're getting those. Are the Flavis products available in Canada?
So Canada is also a market that we are actively working on, and I hope Canada is available a little more quickly. We're international importing laws. It takes a while sometimes.
Yeah, and Jane and Bill, they're regulars. Hey, Jane and Bill, great to see you again. They ask, is there a bread product you'd recommend for a meal like what we just went over tonight?
Yeah, so we have sliced breads. We have the ciabatta rolls, but I will say, in the interest of, a more balanced meal, I would probably recommend you go the breadcrumbs route. Like mashing up some of those crostini and sprinkling them on would be my recommendation. Gives you a little fun texture too.
And someone asked, what is jackfruit? Jackfruit is this gigantic, looks like
It's
an
huge.
alien egg. It looks like something from the movie Alien. That when you can cut it open, you can slice it all up, but you can buy it already cut up for you in cans or in bags. And some of the bags, this one company that makes it has kidney-friendly spices in there. There's no extra sodium or anything like that, but it can replace pulled pork. And let me tell you this, it could fool almost anybody that you are eating pulled pork with a good, nice sauce, like a barbecue sauce or something like that on it. So a lot of these things that emulate meat, like a Impossible Burger at Burger King, that's not fooling anybody. If anybody out there ever took a bite of an Impossible Burger, your first thought was not, this is a Whopper. It was, what happened to this Whopper? It's not right.
Yeah,
But
and those things tend to
jackfruit,
be high in salt too.
oh yeah,
Watch
they're
out for
loaded in
salt in those.
sodium. But jackfruit it's healthy for you, and it can replace pulled pork, and it's plant. So you're not getting the animal protein. You're instead getting a lot of great vitamins. It's got fiber and stuff in it. There's so many different things you could do with it, but I pretty much just make pulled pork out of it.
I've never used it. I'm gonna try this.
Oh, it's great. And the
But I didn't know you could buy it cut up. I think that makes a difference for me because
yes.
I was picturing myself carrying that big thing down the street of New York City.
My kids want me to buy one of those big, and people, I'm serious. Then they bring me on the screen only. They seriously are like this big, a jackfruit, this gigantic thing. They are massive with little tiny like spikes all over them. But yeah, you can get them in a can, or they come in these bags. They're already cut up with flavor. They do a lemon pepper that's really good. They have a great barbecue, low sodium. They use spices to simulate like a barbecue flavor. Now those ones do not look like pulled pork because the color's not there because they're just using spices. I like to get the whole barbecue look. I actually use barbecue sauce on it so that it completely fools my eyes, my nose, everything. And it just tastes amazing. And that's the one thing. You get that ciabatta, cut it in half, pop it on there, boom. You got you a great, healthy little lunch, or get a couple of them for dinner. Make some veggies on the side, maybe some steamed broccoli and cauliflower and carrots. Boom.
Love it.
Yeah, and they grow on trees. That is true. And I've never seen a picture of it, but holy cow, those must be some powerful trees, super strong.
Yeah, wow. I did not. I thought they were kind of like a bush.
Yeah, someone mentioned, they're like watermelons. They are about the size of a large watermelon. Yeah. Let me see if there's anything else. Is Flavis an American product? Where are you guys from?
We're an Italian company. It's an Italian product.
Yes. And Italians know a thing or two about pasta.
They do. They take pasta and bread very seriously. When people ask me, are these good? I'm like, well, it's an Italian made this bread. So, higher standards for bread and pasta for sure.
Now, Tracy's asking, where do you buy it online? Tracy, are you talking about jackfruit or are you talking about the Flavis product? I kind of got us off on a little bit of a tangent there. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I always got to eat dinner before we do these ones. So let me give Tracy a few moments to answer that question. But what were we going to say?
I was just going to say, the Flavis foods, they're on shop.flavis.com. So
there you go.
That's where you find ours. I don't know where you get jackfruit online.
Hold on. I got to look up this brand that I love of jackfruit. Hold on. Because you guys are going to love it. It is. There it is. It's the Jackfruit Company. That is their website. And they have these little packets. They're called meal starters. And let's see if I can. Darn it. I can't bring this on to the screen. But guys, if you go to thejackfruitcompany.com, that's a long URL, you're going to see a barbecue sandwich on their homepage with a little bit of coleslaw next to it, or a pulled pork sandwich with barbecue sauce. That's jackfruit. That is not pulled pork. It tastes incredible. It looks great.
I want to try this.
I might
Wait,
go to
it says
Whole
that they
Foods
can
tonight.
a jackfruit can grow to be 100 pounds. Wow.
Woo!
That's crazy.
Holy cow. Well, I think we answered Tracy's question because she said thanks in there. All right. So we are, here, one more person said, I tried jackfruit and it's deceivingly delicious. Very,
Wow.
very true. And it sounds like Tracy's going to order some Flavis products. Now, do we have a discount code? We had one before.
Yes.
I don't know if it's still active.
I believe it is. And if it's, I'm going to double check right now, but I believe it is.
Check it,
The
because
same
hold
one.
on, Tracy. You don't want to order yet until we tell you about this. If it's still active, it's $10 off, no minimum.
Yes. Yeah.
$10. Boom.
Yeah, it should be still active.
Awesome.
So.
And the code was it Dadvice or Dadvice TV? I'm going to the website to see.
I believe it's Dadvice TV.
I'm going to Dadvice TV and I am scrolling down. Yeah. Oh, Dadvice. So use the coupon code Dadvice, DADVICE. It's not an affiliate link. I don't get a kickback or anything like that. But what you get is $10 off, and you can use it every time you order while it's still active. So pick up some of the ciabatta, pick up some of look at all the different pastas. The little chocolate chip cookie things are great, especially if you love crispy dry cookies. Those are the kind I like. That's what they're like. They remind me of, when I was a kid, Toll House, the chocolate chip cookies came in the blue bag. Chips Ahoy.
Was it Chips Ahoy? Yeah.
They're like a healthier Chips Ahoy. That's what I love, that texture. I don't like the soft cookies.
Well, yeah, I'm also a crunchy cookie person. But I think they're really great. I think, a cookie doesn't just have to be like you eat it straight like a cookie. Like I like to make pie crusts with them. We have a lot of good recipes on our website. So we have like a chocolate pudding recipe on the website. So check them out. And they're made with cacao nibs, which I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but that's it tastes like chocolate, but it's actually an anti-inflammatory, no sugar ingredient. So
Boom, there we go. More goodness in there.
yeah.
All right, look at this. We are practically at the top of the hour. Awesome. And Tracy says, thanks, due to COVID, they shop online a lot too. That is great. As a matter of fact, I think my next order comes tomorrow.
Oh,
I'm hooked on Amazon.
Yeah, I think everyone is these days, right?
Yeah. All right. So I want to remind everyone one more time of the promotion going on. Kidney disease can't stop me. Share your victory giveaway. You can learn about this on dadvicetv.com. All we're asking is post a picture of you. It could just be you smiling. There's a Facebook post. You reply to it. Post a picture of you demonstrating that kidney disease can't stop you. Smiling, swimming, relaxing. Maybe you're out playing with the dogs or the grandkids. We're giving away 3-month supply of Renadil. This is a very good renal probiotic. I've used it for a little over a year now. We're giving away all my bottles of Renadil. I use it a lot. Pro Renal Plus D. It comes in a bigger bottle. This is a small bottle that a renal dietitian gives away, a sample. It is a renal multivitamin. We are giving away Flavis products. Hey, what better way to get a chance to try some more products? And I'm giving away some Dadvice TV gear. Hey, all it takes is a picture. And might even get featured in the Dadvice TV newsletter. Hey, because we want to promote that, people still get to do things and have fun, even though they happen to have kidney disease. All right, Megan, thank you so much for being here. It's always great to have you. Another great recipe to add to our collection of things that are kidney friendly to keep us happy and our tummies full.
Yeah,
and everyone
great.
else.
Thank you.
Yep,
Thank you for
I will be
having me.
back here. Yeah, I'll be back here tomorrow night with Jen Hernandez. We're going to be talking about milk. Yep, all the different kind of milks and which ones are best for your renal diet. Lots of people always have questions about almond milk, cashew milk, regular milk. Well, that's what we're talking about tomorrow, milk. So I'll see everybody in the next video. Thanks, and have a great rest of your week. Bye.
Bye.